Okay, this is Steve. I'm here with VantoN, and we're going to play USS Freedom.
Yes, we are. So, thank you, Steve, for having us. Uh, let's talk a little bit about the story and the flavor of the game. Now, according to the story, what happened is that aliens came to Earth and they started a war, they started bombarding us, and they were like super strong. We couldn't fight back. The only thing we managed to do is shoot down one of their spaceships. And that spaceship went down near a convention center, and people from that convention center ran into the starship into the spaceship, and they just make it fly away so they can save themselves from all this chaos and mayhem. Now those aliens, they had a mystical essence that we call ether in the game, and that essence has the ability that whatever you're thinking, it makes it come true one way or another. And that's why they were so strong. And also, that's how our um, our people from that convention, those humans, managed to make this alien spaceship fly away. And so they run along through the stars, trying to find their own destiny, maybe save Earth if they can. And that's pretty much the story, but for one little detail. This convention I mentioned earlier, that was a cosplay convention. So all those people were cosplayers. And because of this ether ability, they started to manifest the superpowers they were pretending to have while cosplaying. So the wizard started casting spells, and Thor started having lightning from his hammer, and everybody started to have some special ability that has to do with what they were pretending to be as cosplayers. And that's pretty much the story of the game. We can go into a few more technical things. It is an open world, free roaming game. You can move to any direction in a stellar map. You can meet different type of encounters with loads of cards. You could meet an alien race, a monster, a titan, which is like a monster of space that is the size of your starship, or you could meet a trade ship or a warship, or even a space phenomenon like a wormhole or a black hole. All those things are possible. You could meet a very difficult opponent in the very start of the game, which is played as a campaign with up to 36 adventures. So every adventure is like in game time a month. So you have 3 years, 36 months. You have 3 years to come back and save the Earth, which is your end game. Now, the feeling of the game is like a sci-fi TV series where there's a linear story, but in each episode, people from the starship they will go beam down on a planet. They do their thing, and then they come back, and the next episode they do something else. That's pretty much the feeling of the story. Now, if we take a quick look over here, now that is the stellar map. The starter map is where all this free roaming is happening. And on the starter map, there are 5 miniatures. This is the USS Freedom. Those are us. All our heroes are inside that spaceship, and we move around, and we're trying to make stuff happen. Those are the Archons, the paladins of space. They make sure that everything is just and peaceful. Those are the Crusaders, the pirates of space. They loot and pillage whatever they can find. This is a trade starship that carries valuable loot. It's called El Dorado. It has the most expensive loot, and it transfers it from one sector of space to another. And this is the behemoth, the destroyer of worlds, as we call it. It devours anything in its way. Now, those 4 miniatures, they move at the start of every adventure by the roll of the dice. Uh, I'm going to go ahead and make a roll like 3.
Mm-hmm.
Then you count from the, well, top or north hex. Both those words are wrong, but in this space there is no north, I know. But anyway, from this space you count clockwise. So 1, 2, 3, and you move it over here in that hex.
Mm-hmm.
If I had roll a 5, That would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it would be here. And that's how everybody is moving. On a 2, that's 1, 2, it'll move here. So this is how those four miniatures move, and if they ever collide, something happens depending on who collides with who and all the circumstances that surround the occasion. Now, we move wherever we want, we do not roll the dice, but I'm going to explain that in just 1 minute. I want to tell you all the information there are over here on the starter map before. So you'll notice that there are 11 hexes with a planet. Each planet has a symbol. For example, here is the snowflake. Uh, and that symbol, actually, what it means is like, if you take a quick look at this card over here, well, it has the same symbol, the snowflake, and it means that this alien resides on this planet. Now, also, you will notice that there is a dice below every planet,
Mm-hmm.
and the value of that dice is the reputation that you have acquired with this specific planet. A high number means we're friends, and a low number means we're close to enemies. Now, there are many things we can do to increase or decrease the reputation with its faction, and because all those factions are either allies or enemies with each other, what we do with one of them will affect our relationships with everyone or close to everyone. There is also in the left edge of every hex an icon like this one and a number next to it. Now, those icons are all commodities where you could buy or sell, and the number next to it is the price of that commodity. For example, you could buy an alcohol beverage, some fabric, a book, some jewelry, anything goes on. So you will notice that the same commodity can be found in various spots on the spaceboard. So, for example, the fabric over here it costs 2, but the fabric over here it costs 5. So buying low and selling high is your main way of getting credits, which is the currency of the game. And you
Gotcha.
spend this currency, yeah, and you spend this currency in various stuff, most importantly, the upgrades of the starship, but we will get to that in just 1 minute. Now, let's see how we move on the uh, on the stellar map. We use the help of this encounter hex over here that will help us depict everything that we have adjacent to our starship on the universe. So what we do is that for the stable things, which are the planets and only them, we place the aliens that reside in this planet on the upper right slot, just as is the upper right hex that has the planet. So over here, and on southern of our starship, there is this planet with a scale. So we will place those aliens that have this specific icon, and it means that they live on those planets. So we know that over here are the Oceanians, over here is the Equilibrians. That's where their planets are. And for the rest four of the cards, what we do is that we have encounter decks that are color coded with the same colors as the sectors of space. So
Mm.
green, blue, red, golden, purple, all of those colors. What we do is that we check what colors are adjacent to our miniature. So we have green over here and blue and red. So we will take the green, blue, and red deck. We will shuffle them together, and we will draw cards randomly to place around our starship. And as we do that, we know what we will face depending on which course we will take, what direction we're going to move. So if we go over here, that's a space phenomena, a Tachyon breach that we'll have to study and understand. Over here is a small moon of a planet that has a monster on it, and we can try to kill it or capture it. And that's how we make our choice. Let's say, for example, that we choose to go with our Oceanian friends because we have the highest reputation with them. They're probably our friends. So Once the decision is made, we remove the rest of the cards. We're not going to use them for this adventure. And what we do is that we make a roll, which is called a diplomacy roll or encounter roll, and we will add to the total the number of the reputation we have acquired with this specific alien race. So go ahead and make a roll, and we'll see what happens.
Okay.
All right, we rolled a 3. So 3 plus 6, that's 9. And we have this result. We flip the card over to see what happens. Now, there are 2 boxes, and we will find ourselves depending on what reputation roll we have. So we have 9, and we are on the second box, the 9 through 15 box. And what it says is they're hailing us on screen. And they have sent us a message, and the message says, our deposit generators are offline. We need power to kickstart them, but be careful because equilibrium ships will attempt to stop you in order to force a trade deal with them to buy the power. So what we could do now is 3 things. The first thing we could do is, you know what? No, we don't want to get in the middle of that, so we'll just go away, and that ends the encounter, and pretty much nothing happens. We could say that, oh, your generators are offline, you're vulnerable. Okay, we'll attack them. And by that, we will gain some credits because we will steal from them, but our reputation will decline. And of course, there is the option 3 that says commencing power transfer. And that means that we're going to help them on this quest they are giving us, on this help they're asking. And that says that we will initiate combat with R9. That's the code of the card. And from round 1, transfer 3 power to planet for 5 rounds. So we'll have to go ahead and face the Equilibrians, the R9 card, the enemies of the Oceanians, for at least 5 rounds. And we have to give them power, 3 power, every round for 5 rounds. That's what we have to do. I'm feeling pretty heroic. I don't know. Let's try and help our friends.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, I'll place the cards over here next to our starship just for convenience. And since we are here at the starship, let's say a few things about USS Freedom, our spaceship. All right, this hex is the cockpit where our pilots are, and this is the weapons. This is the engine, and this is the seals generator. All the rest of the hexes are cargo space. Now, what we have, as we progress on the campaign, we will gain credits, and we will spend credits on buying upgrades for our starship. So we can make it more of a trade ship, more of a warship. We can focus on defenses, or we can focus on offense, or we can go for an all-round build. And what we have also is an easy to pack and continue feature where anything you have gained, money, loot, the upgrades, anything you have gained, any progress you have made, at the end of the day, you place it over here on this big pouch, and then you place everything else in the box. And when you have to restart again the next day you're going to play, you don't have to just find every card that you need to set aside. You have everything in the pouch. So I have here some money. As you'll see, I have our loot and our upgrades. I'm going to go ahead and place our loot in one of the cargo spaces. And what we have done is we have bought several upgrades for our ship. We have bought a second engine to produce more power. We have bought another weapon, as you see over here, and another weapon. We have a second cockpit and another seals generator and another weapon. We're stacked on weapons, as you can see. and this is how a starship looks like at the, well, approximately at the half during the half campaign. We're gonna play like 17th adventure, so pretty much in the middle. This campaign is up to 36, so we're in the middle. Now, this is our starship and how it looks like. But before we continue, let's take a look at the heroes. All right, I'm gonna go in one of your heroes, the Thor, for example. All right, every hero works the same way. So if you understand one, you understand all of them. Uh, every hero card has in the upper left part of them of it four ability scores. The first one next to the fist is the strength score. Then next to the wing is the agility score. Then next to the cog is the engineering score. And lastly, it's the charisma. Also, in the bottom of every hero card, there are four abilities color coded from blue, green, orange to red. And this is also their power level, weakest being the blue and the most powerful being the red one. Now, what you do is at the first of every round, you draw crystals from your ether pouch and you place them above your heroes. Now, a hero with a blue crystal on him can discard him, and that way he will activate his blue ability over here. If he has a green crystal on them, they can discard the orange ability. And, sorry, they can discard the green crystal and they can activate the green or the blue ability. Now, if a hero has two blues, that means that he can discard both of them to activate the ability that is one level higher than the color. So two blues makes one green. And not only that, if he had all those crystals on him, he could discard two blue for a green and then two greens. Oh, sorry, and then two greens, and that will make one orange ability. Okay?
Got it.
And that's pretty much how heroes work. I'm gonna place all of those back inside.
You say you place
Um,
those gems every round, you said?
Yes, you place them every round. At the start of every round, you draw from left to right for each hero. You draw those crystals. You cannot choose where you place the crystal. It's always from left to right, but you can choose not to place it. For example, if you only have one red crystal on your pouch and you draw that red crystal for Lana, but you definitely need to use Thor's ability, red ability, then you can choose to place it back on the other pouch in hopes that you will draw it for Thor next time. And that's how our heroes work as well.
Cool.
Okay, uh, we are ready, if you want to play a few rounds and see if we can fulfill this quest, if we can successfully help our friends and defeat those equilibriums in space combat.
Let's do it.
Now, this particular adventure will revolve around space combat and only space combat, but there will be other quests that will require our heroes to beam down to a planet, and that would be resolved over here on this board, where is the surface of the planet. Or we could beam on another starship or on a space hangar, and this would be played over here. And of course, there are some quests that will require you to play on two different boards. For example, there is a quest where some of the heroes going into the surface of the planet trying to steal an ancient artifact, fighting the guards that are protecting it, and the USS Freedom with the rest of your heroes is flying above and tries to protect their team from the incoming starships that are the reinforcements of the guards. So there are many ways to mix and match all those different scenarios. Now, to start the game, let's place our heroes. Let's make the setup. Let's place our heroes on the USS Freedom, and we do it very easily by following two simple rules and one. The two simple rules are that um, one standee per hex and no standees on the cargo slots, which are 7 and 11. Any remaining standee, if there are any, they go to hex 0, which is the bridge. Now, that was the rules. And the hint is that if you'll notice, every hex of the starship, on the upper edge, it has a symbol that corresponds to one of the ability scores of the heroes. And what it means is that a hero to activate that particular part of the starship needs that attribute, that ability score. So, for example, over here on the engine, well, a hero needs to use, what a surprise, engineering. And over here, agility, over here, strength, etc., etc. So go ahead and place You're gonna play the green player, so I'm gonna play the rest of the two. Now, go ahead and place your heroes on the starship wherever you think it's best. Make sure, feel free to make any kind of mistakes. We will learn from them.
Okay,
So go
sounds
ahead and
good.
place, and I'm gonna do the same.
It's a good engineering person. So let's put this guy right in here.
Okay, we'll place her over here.
So have Thor man the shields.
Great.
Okay.
Oh,
Cool.
okay. I think we are in a very good position right now. Everything is correct as for our setup. Now, this one standee per hex rule is only for the setup. Afterwards, we can have up to 3 standees in a hex in every situation with no exceptions, even counting the enemies if we had any. For example, if a sneaky enemy would sneak into the starship, this could happen, and we'll have to also fight him with our blades and spells. Um, there can only be 3 standees per hex. So let's go ahead and see how this goes. First round starts, and I'm gonna follow the general rules of this card. It has 1 or 2 mistakes. It's not proof yet. I'm so sorry for that. Um, and what we do is the enemy upkeep. During the enemy upkeep, what we do is 2 things. First, we reveal an enemy action chip, and that is that we would flip 1 token. Let's say just as an example, I'm going to flip this one. That's green, and it means that the enemy will activate the green ability. That's what we do. But in the first round, we always skip this part, and we always activate the blue ability at the first round. From the second round, we start drawing from this stack of chips over here. So let's activate the blue ability of the enemy that says 2 pyro missiles, and on this indication, there's a little square. It says D, which means dice, and it means that we are going to roll a dice to determine where those missiles target our starship. Go ahead and make 2 rolls, and we will see what happens.
Okay. Get a 4.
Alright,
And a 1.
and a 1. All right. So in this case, I'm gonna take 1 missile here on the slot 1 and 1 missile here on the slot 4. Right? You see, there are numbers here that indicate what the slot is. And what it means is that this missile over here, the 4, it goes bam into here, the hex 4. The 4 on the 4, that's where the
Gotcha.
damage will be dealt. And same for the 1, it will go over here. So, okay, we've done that. The card also says place chips for attack, we just did. Defense, which are those, they're already placed. Those are the defenses of the enemy. And thrusters. Now, if you take a quick look at the card, the first number on it is 53. It's the hit points. And the next one that says 3 and it has like a thruster, it's the thruster's value. The next one is their charisma, and the last one is their function symbol and the counter level. Now, if you take a good look at the symbol of the thrusters, it only has 1 thruster, where this one, for example, it has 2 thrusters. If you see the difference in the icon.
Yep, see it, yep.
Yeah. So this means that since we have 1 icon thruster, the enemy will have a thruster's value of 3 plus whatever is under this token over here. If it had 2 thrusters, we would place another one over here, and we'll have to add all of those together. But this is not the case. Now we have just 1 thruster, so it's 3 plus whatever number is under this token. And we're done with the enemy upkeep. Let's go for our heroes upkeep.
So you put
Our
the
heroes
thrusters
now,
of the enemy on the player ship.
Yeah, everything is placed on this star map.
Okay,
On
okay.
this, sorry, on this starboard. So those are the attack of the enemy, those are the defenses of the enemy, and this is the thrusters of the enemy.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes
Uh,
sense.
okay. All right. So on the hero upkeep, we'll draw crystals, one crystal for all our heroes from left to right. Go ahead and do for yours, and I'm gonna do for mine.
Ooh, got a red one.
Okay. Sorry, mistake. Okay, and I'm gonna draw for the other ones a blue. Ooh, I drew a red for Barcelona. I'm gonna choose to place it back. And bazooka over here, blue, yes, and yes. Okay, I think we're cool. Now we can move, and then we will combat or repair. First things first, any hero can move an amount of hexes equal to his agility score plus one. So, for example, I could move this. Uh, I could move sorcerer over here, and one, two, three, for example. I could move him here. Also, I'm gonna choose to activate the robot's green ability. I'll take you there. I'm gonna discard this green ether, and I'm gonna use transport heroes in hex anywhere. I'll take you there. So what it means is that this guy pulls off an Optimus Prime, he becomes a monster truck or something, and transports all those heroes over here, um, because that's the only spot he can go actually. And now that they are here, they can more easily go to their places. Let's place Priest over here. Let's place Iggy over here. By the way, this is my favorite character, Iggy. Take a look at her card. It's here. Now, Iggy is not a cosplayer. She's just the cleaning lady of the convention. And she just went along with the rest of the people, and her superpowers are mostly to tidy up and repair stuff and make everything clean. She's definitely one of my favorites.
That's awesome.
All right, so we moved some of our heroes. Now Robot has already moved because he already used his action by spending this ability crystal and activating this his ability. Let's say we're good like that, or we could skip firing for the first turn and try to focus on the defense and then try to fire again on the next turn. But I don't know. What do you think? Do you want to fire on the first turn?
So we've got some pirate missiles. No, no. Let's do a little bit of defense. I think we can stop those pirate missiles from coming.
Okay. Let's go ahead and play some defense. So I'm gonna place one more hero here on the engines. We're gonna skip the actually two, one, two, three. We're gonna skip the firing weapons on the first turn. We're gonna
Okay.
focus on our defenses, and we're gonna build up an attack for the next round. So let's go ahead and move on to the engine step. In the engine step, the heroes produce power, and how this happens is that every hero on the engine's hex uh, can produce a number of power equal to his or hers engineering score. So, for example, on my sorcerer here, he will produce just one, and bazooka will produce two, and Star Knight, well, Star Knight, I'm gonna spend her green crystal to activate the blue ability that says two things. Charge energy strike one, that's for melee combat. I don't want to strike anyone, you're all my friends. But it also say engineering four, and that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna produce four energy instead of three. So I'm gonna place three more. One, two, three, four. So sorry, four more energy here to use. Now that leaves us for Lana, two for Lana. That's your hero. And Hipster, also your hero. One, two, three. And of course, the Priest. So that's all the energy we have amassed. It's quite a lot for the first round, but 3 of those energy cubes will go away immediately because we need to help our friends kickstart their generators. I don't know if you have forgotten about that. The card over here says, please help us kickstart our generators by transferring 3 power from first round, and for 5 rounds after that, 3 power to the planet. So we give these 3 cubes here to indicate that we are helping them with their quest.
Makes sense.
All right, now for the rest of the energy, we choose where to allocate this power to and what parts of the ship we want to use. Anything that doesn't have power cannot be used at all. I'm going to go ahead and make some choices myself since it's the first round. Let's place 2 here on this pilot and 1 in this one. And let's place 1 energy cube for every hero on the seals. And I think we're good on terms of defense. Now for the rest 4, let's place 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 on each of our weapons. Now we have nobody there, so nobody will actually attack this turn. But we can, sorry, but we can keep the energy there. It's gonna stay there for the next round, and it means we're charging our weapons, so we're gonna make a bigger shot the next round. And that concludes the energy production step. Now we go to the thruster step, a very important step. In the thruster step, we try to outmaneuver our opponents to gain one of the 3 available bonuses. And those bonuses are vantage point, evasive maneuvers, and full throttle. Vantage point means that we're going to fire to our enemy a little bit more accurately. Evasive maneuvers means that we're going to try to avoid some of the missiles that are coming towards us. And full throttle means that we're trying to escape. We're throwing everything we have on thrusters to try to go away so we escape our pursuers. We will not win our quest, we will not succeed, but we will survive. Sometimes this will be the case and it will be important. Now for this round, I believe evasive maneuvers makes more sense than anything else.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
All right. So how we do that is that we make a thrusters contest between our thrusters value versus the opponent's thrusters value. Now to produce our thrusters value, each hero can produce a number of thrusters value by expending 1 energy cube equal to his agility score. So Kogal over here spends 1 energy cube and produces 3 thrusters. If she spends another one, an extra one, that means just a +1. So by spending those 2 cubes, it's 3 + 1, 4. And that's also what Panthera does. She spends 1 and she adds another 3. So it's a total of 7. Okay, so we have 7. Now what the opponent has, the opponent has a base power of 3, as it is said over here, and whatever is under here. So I'm gonna flip and see the result. Okay, 2. So they have 5, we have 7, we won. Now when we win on an evasive maneuvers check, what we do is that we choose one of the quadrants of the starship and we remove a number of missiles from that quadrant equal to the difference of our thrusters values.
Nice.
So we could remove up to 2 missiles from any one of our starship. So we could choose either this one or this one. It really doesn't matter. They're both targeting a hex that is a cockpit. They're both targeting a hex that has only 1 hero on it. So go ahead and choose one, and we will remove that one.
Let's get rid of this one. Now, if
All
they
right.
were
Yeah.
both in the same quadrant, like let's say we rolled a 5 instead of a
Yeah,
4,
like
they would
so.
both go away?
Yeah. Yes, they would both go away.
Nice. Cool.
All right, and that's the evasive maneuver. So that concludes the first step. And then we go to the weapons that we're going to skip for the first turn. And we'll go straight into these seals. The seals work just like everything else. I will remove 1 energy cube for my Barcelona hero over here, and I'm gonna produce 3 sealed cubes for to place on one of the 4 seals of the starship. So I'm gonna choose this over here because this is where we're going to take damage, and I'm gonna place 1, 2, 3 cubes over here. Now those cubes will reduce the incoming damage by 1 for every cube I spend. And the same can be done by Yia. She's going to spend 1 cube, and she's going to add 3 cubes on the top right part of the starship. And what about your Thor? You want to
He's
do the
got 3
same?
as well.
All right, great. You could choose to say that, okay, we have enough seals on the top, let's place it somewhere else, but I'm gonna leave that up to you.
I'm not sure what their attack strength is going to be. Is it going to be
1 through 9. It can be from 1 through 9. So if we place another 3, then we're totally safe.
Nah, let's have some risk. Let's make it fun. Let's put him someplace else. Let's put him down here, I guess.
On the bottom?
Yeah.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that concludes our round, and at the end, we resolve whatever the opponent did. So I'm gonna flip it. 2. Well, luck favors the bold, so only 2 damage. We can easily remove them, and we take 0 damage on this round. And that concludes the first round. Pretty easy one. And let's go and make a second round now, and let's try to make it even more interesting. Now what we do is that we draw one of the enemy action chips, we flip it, and we see what ability the opponent is going to use. And I see the green one, missile strike, 4 missiles. And over here you see the indication of where those missiles strike, and it has with red the right part of the starship. Now how that resolves is that from top to bottom we place 4 missiles like so. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And that's all the missiles we're gonna receive on this turn. I'm having a feeling that you're gonna choose evasive maneuvers this round again.
Yes.
So yeah, so that's the opponent's turn. I'm gonna shuffle and draw 1 more thruster's chip, and now for the heroes to draw their crystals again. I'm gonna go ahead and orange for a second, red for Pantera. That sounds a bit too much. I'm gonna place it back, and then yeah, yes, and robot blue, Bogal orange, blue. All right, perfect. I say we try to make one more aggressive turn this round. What do you say?
Let's do it.
All right, we're gonna need some sewers. I'm gonna place 1, 2, 3. This one over here. 1, 2. One over here. Bazooka will go here. And okay, let's have one more. 1, 2 over here. Let's have our priest also attack. The robot will go into the engine room since he has a great engineering score. Over here, all the engineering scores are bad, but I'm gonna use Barcelona for this round. All right, we are like so. Let's go, let's proceed and go to the engine step. We produce power. Now, Barcelona over here produces 2, 1, 2. And your hipster produces 3, right?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
My Star Knight will spend again her blue ability to activate her blue crystal, sorry, to activate the blue ability engineering 4. So she produces 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And the robot will do exactly the same. He's going to spend the blue ether crystal to activate the blue ability engineering 4, and he's going to place another 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. As before, 3 of our energy will go to the quest, so we help our friends the Oceanians.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, better like that. And now we need to allocate the rest of our energy on the various weapons. and thrusters and everything. So let's place 1 and 1 on the seals. Let's place 1 and 1 on the on our pilots, and the rest can go, well, to the weapons. Let's make an explosive turn.
I like it.
One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, let's be like that. All right. So now for the thruster step, I'm guessing we'll go for the evasive maneuvers to avoid as much of the damage as possible from this round, from this part of the starship. So Pogal will spend her energy cube, and she will also spend her blue ability, her blue crystal, sorry, to activate the blue ability that says thrusters 4. And what that means is that by expending 1 energy cube, she produces a thrusters value of 4 instead of 3. And Panthera, well, she's going to use her cube and make 3 more, so it's a total of 7. 7 again. Let's see what they have this turn under their chip. 2 again. So 5, we can remove 2 missiles from the side of the starship. So choose 2 and remove it.
Okay, I'll get rid of this one and this one here. Okay.
All right. So great. Let's proceed to the fun stuff. Let's go to the weapons phase. Now, any hero can use his action when he is on a weapon, hex, to use the action fire weapons. And when you do so, you expend 1 of the energy cubes and you flip face up 1 of those 4 seals. So I'm gonna say that, okay, let's have this sorcerer attack. I'm gonna spend 1 energy, go ahead and choose 1 of the seals, and we'll see.
Let's do this one.
You are so lucky. And again, if you see this here, it's the same as this symbol over here.
Yep.
Now, when you make an attack, if the symbols match, then that's a success. Otherwise, you missed. And so you have a success here, and you deal damage equal to your agility score. So 2. And if you spend 1 more cube, that's 3. And that number 4 here means that this is the maximum number of damage you can deal on this particular seal. The only way to deal more damage than that number is to activate a powerful ether ability. So you have dealt 3 damage with the sorcerer, and I'm going to place 3 copper cubes and place it over here to remind us that this guy has taken 3 damage. So 3 down, 50 more to go.
Oh, wow.
Let's try and make it happen. Let's have priest fire.
Sure.
Go ahead and choose 1.
Let's choose this one. Oh, not so
Okay,
lucky.
that's a miss, but that's a good miss. I'll show you why. Let's spend this energy cube because the priest fired. Now Lana over here that has that symbol knows exactly where to fire, and she has 100% chances of success. So she can deal directly damage over there. So, and how much damage? For the first cube, 3, then 4, 5 damage can be dealt to the opponent. But there's more. If you take a quick look over here, on Lana's orange ability, it says plasma spheres and empower, and it has the symbol of the weapon you're standing on. And that means that you deal double the damage you would normally deal when you empower that weapon. So by spending this ether crystal, the orange one, you deal, instead of 5, you deal 10 damage to the opponent. And because you have spent a crystal for an ether ability, you can go above the limit of the seal.
Yeah, let's totally do that.
All right, so 10 damage on the first sword of Lana, a huge amount, 20% of the total hit points. So he has been dealt 13 damage, and now Bazooka here has a difficult job. He has 50% chance of succeeding. Let's see what he'll do.
Let's try this one. Oh.
Ah, that's a close call. So I'm gonna one more cube. We failed this, but this energy must not be spended. You just spend one to fire, and then you choose if you want to fire, if you want to make your shot even stronger. So this energy is going to stay here for the next round. And that concludes the weapons phase. And let's move on the shields step. I'm going to place one cube. I'm going to remove one cube for a year and place 3 strength. I'm going to place it on the bottom. 1, 2, 3. And what about you with Thor?
Let's put it on the top.
All right, I'm going to remove one. I'm going to place 1, 2, 3. Okay, and now we'll take some damage. Hopefully not so much. Let's flip. That's 5. Yay, we can actually reduce it to 0. We'll remove 5 cubes and we'll reduce it to 0, and we are unscathed. And on the bottom, flip 4.
Nice.
We are doing good. No 9s, no 8s, no 7s, so we're great. We remove those 4, and we remove the missile, and we continue to be untouched for one more round, and we have dealt a significant amount of damage. Let's go for one more round. First, I'm going to shuffle the seals again, and I'm going to place them again on their positions.
Do you only have the same 4 shields, or do you have more than those 4?
There are those 4 because those are the 4 weapons that the starship has.
Gotcha.
All right, so I'm going to do the same for the thrusters. I'm going to shuffle and this one here. And let's draw for our enemy. The blue ability this turn. 2 pyro missiles. Go ahead and make a 2 dice rolls to see where. So we have one
12?
on 12. And the second one on
5.
5. So I place here. I was actually pretty lucky since we already have shields there. And those are the fires, the missiles that are going to hit. And I don't know if you noticed, but those are pyro missiles. So if we dealt damage, it's not going to be just simple damage like this one. It's going to be fire damage. And fire damage spreads to the other hexes if we do not repair it on time. So let's go ahead, and I'm gonna suggest let's make an even more aggressive turn this round. Let's try to use vantage point to have one more shot of firing correctly.
Okay.
All right, let's do that. Now I'm gonna be sneaky about it. I'm gonna place Priest over here, Ogal over here for the movement part of the starship. And now let's produce some energy, but no, before produce, and actually before moving as well, let's draw crystals for our heroes. Okay. All right. Thor has only 2, and that's because you
I chose not to put one on there, I guess.
Oh, okay, great. So let's go and produce the energy. Robot produces 3. Star Knight produces, well, again, 4 by spending a blue crystal. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 for Hipster, and 2 for Barcelona. 3 of them will go right into our quest. We've reached 9 energy for our friends. Now let's place 2 to the seals, and let's place just 1 on our pilot. And I'm saying just 1, even though we have just 1 pilot, because Pantera has an ace up her sleeve. The rest of the weapons, the rest of the energy will go to weapons. So let's place 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's play like so 6.
Cool.
Okay, let's see what we're gonna do. We'll go to the thruster step now.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Panthera, while producing thrusters value, she'll spend the energy cube she has to if she wants to pilot the plane, and then she will activate. If you take a quick look over here, she will spend this red cube, this red ether, to activate the orange ability that says gain vantage point. And that
Mm.
means that we will not have to compare our thruster's value. She just uses her superpower and outmaneuvers the enemy. We spend 1 energy, she can do, and we automatically win vantage point. Now, what vantage point is that we start our weapons phase with one of the shields face up. So we have a chance of sitting in all our shots. Go ahead and
Let's do this one.
great. So this is the information that the vantage point gave us. Now Bazooka can fire exactly there, and let's see if she can do if he can do a good job. He'll throw 1 for 3 damage, 4, 5, 6, and then take a quick look. Bazooka will spend 2 greens to activate the orange ability, and it's an empower, and it has the symbol of the weapon he's firing from. So he's gonna deal double the damage on the opponent. So instead of 6, he's gonna deal 12.
Wow,
Place
awesome.
2, and I'm gonna place. Actually, I'm gonna remove the 3, and I'm gonna place a 5. All right. And that was a lot of damage. We have done 25 damage, almost half his hit points with 2 rounds. So we have a few more of attackers. I'm gonna go ahead and fire with Priest. You actually are going to go ahead and fire with Priest. So go ahead and choose one of the seals.
Let's do this one. Nope.
Okay, that's a miss, but as before, that's a good miss because now Lana can reap some destruction over there. She has a red crystal on her, so 1 cube for 3 damage, 4, 5, and removing this red ether, he makes it double, so 10 more damage to our enemy. He's going down fast, 35 damage total. And we only have Kogal remaining. Go ahead and choose one of the 2.
This one. Yeah, I got it.
Correct. And 3 more missiles, 3 more damage to our enemy. 1, 2, 3 goes over here. And we've reached 38. Now, before we go to the next step, there is also another important hero on the weapons that have no energy, but he does have magic. His orange ability that I'm going to activate by discarding the orange ether says Arcane Bolt, 8 damage to enemy starship. So he uses his magic and deals 8 damage to the enemy directly without having to go through seals.
Mm.
So I'm going to place another 10 and remove it 2 singles. So 46, the enemy is so close on dying. We have focused our offense, and now for the seals, I'm gonna use my Ihia for 3, and your Thor, I guess, for another 3.
Mm-hmm.
All right, but I'm gonna place 3 on the top. Yeah. And what about you? On the top or at the bottom?
Let's do the bottom. Let's spread it out. Oh, got lucky. Lost your audio real quick, VantoN.
8. Can you hear me?
Now I can hear you. You're back.
8.
Cool.
Okay, hello.
Yep, I hear you.
All right, perfect. So we reduce to 0, but on the bottom we'll take 1. It ought to happen one time or not or
Yeah, it
another.
was bound to happen.
So
So
that is 1 damage on the yeah, it was bound to happen. 1 damage on the 12 hex. So I'm gonna play, and it is fire damage because it was a pyro missile. I'm gonna place this in case that we have a fire here. 1 fire damage, and the Thor hero also takes 1 damage because he's standing on that hex. Now, every hero has 10 hit points, and if he takes 10 damage, he dies, and you cannot use him again for the rest of the campaign. There are 32 heroes in total. All of them are on the starship, and you draft at the beginning of each adventure who are the 12 active ones for each adventure. The rest are considered to be in cryosleep or stasis or something like that. So if one hero dies, then you remove him from the drafting procedure and you cannot use him again. Now, if a hex of the starship takes 10 damage, well, that means that the hull is breached and the whole starship gets destroyed. And that's the end of the campaign, and you'll have to start again.
So you said this fire is going to spread. So is that going to spread at the end of the round, or when does that happen?
Now, this fire, yes, it's gonna spread at the end of the round, and it's gonna sorry, at the end of the next round. In this
Okay.
round we took the damage. If we do not repair it by the end of the next round, it's going to spread on the 2 hexes that are adjacent to it, and
Hmm.
deal, of course, 1 more damage to them and 1 more damage to itself, and that's
Mm.
how it will go. So, of course, this is not the case, so we don't have to worry about it anymore. So let's go for 1 more round and see what happens.
Okay.
I'm gonna flip for the the orange one. It says 4 pyro missiles. 4 pyro missiles. Okay. I'm going to place back this missile and shuffle, and let's see what we have. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, and I'm gonna remake the shields, and let's draw for our heroes. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
All right. What do you think now about aggressive turn versus defensive turn
I
and
want to
all
blow up
that?
that ship. Let's
All
do
right.
it.
You want to blow up? You want to blow up that ship? Let's try and blow. Only if you want to. You can give.
Oh no. Sorry, guys. Looks like I disconnected. Let me try to reconnect real quick. Just a second. Okay, just a quick update to everyone as we're trying to get it up and running again. Unfortunately, it looks like the server
Hey, can you hear
went
me?
down. Yeah, I can hear you. The server went down and kicked us both out. So we're gonna try to set up the board again really quick, and then we'll get back to it. Okay, sorry about that hiccup, everyone. But we had to set up the board as close to where it had kicked us out, so it'll be a little bit different, but we'll still get through this. Because I want to blow up the ship. this
All right, let's try
equilibrium? Yeah, equilibrium.
equilibriums. Yes, yes, yes. Let's try, and they're not so friendly as well. If you take a look at those people who pilot the starship,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
them. Well, there are worse. There are worse than them. So let's go on, and I was gonna say that there is something we can do. Sorry. Yeah, yeah. We're gonna go all on attack, right? We're gonna try to get some vantage point.
Yeah, absolutely.
And what about defense? We're gonna focus on the seals too. Actually, we had 2 seals over here. No, no, we did not. We used everything we had. Energy for our ship. I'm gonna produce 1, 2, 3 for Star Knight, and 1, 2, 3 for the robot. Now Hipster has 3, and Barcelona has 2,
Mm-hmm.
and 3 of them, of course, go to the quest. And I think we did it. That's
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I think we did it. So let's go ahead and place some of the rest of the energy to various things. I'm gonna. Oh, we need. Ooh, listen that we cannot use our shield generator over here because it has taken fire. We need to first repair it, and then we'll have to be able to use. Bring her. We're gonna bring the cleaning lady Yi over here, and she is going to use repair, and any hero can repair, and by doing so, he or she removes a number of damage from the hex he or she is standing on, equal to his or her engineering score. Score of 1, we have taken just 1 damage, so he's gonna remove it, and that takes away the fire. So no
Nice.
harm done there. But she used her action, and she can provide for seals this turn. Only Thor will provide some seals this turn. All right, let's see what we can do. Let's place a few of our. Are we going to go for evasive or for vantage point? What do you
I see
think?
vantage point. Let's try to blow up the ship.
All right, all right, all right. Loud and clear. Uh, 1, 2, 3. I have a blue. I believe we'll be fine like that. And we'll place the rest on the ship. All right. Let's go for the next step, which is the thruster step. We're choosing vantage point because you're feeling like you want to blow some stuff up. So I'm going to remove 1 energy cube from the Kogal hero, and I'm going to remove also the blue crystal, and that will give us the thrusters of 4. And Panthera will do the same and remove 1 energy cube, and we have a total of 7. And now our opponents have 3 plus whatever is under here, a 2. I swear, people, we have other numbers here. I don't know why we keep taking the 2. And that makes us to win the vantage point. So we'll start the weapons phase with one of the seals face up. So go ahead and flip one up. All right. We know that we can deal at least 1 damage for sure for priest, but we could also choose to intentionally miss with the priest. So we give a better chance for the other 2 suitors that are more powerful to definitely succeed. And I think we should be a little more tactical about it. If the priest misses, he gives a better chance for both Lana and Bazooka, the weapon specialist, to fire accurately. What do you think?
I like the idea. Let's intentionally miss.
All right, so we're spending the energy from the priest. Choose one of the missiles to open another shield. Great,
That's good.
and that's exactly what we need. So Lana can fire, spending one energy for 3 damage, equal to her agility, and another one for 4. But wow, a red crystal
Mm-hmm.
on Lana. She can expend the red crystal to activate the orange ability, and that says Empower.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that means she will do 8 damage. Uh, and I believe it's more than enough. Let's place 5, so that's 51, 52, 53, 54. Yeah, it got destroyed. He's at
Boo.
-1 HP. Kaboom, it dies. Well, that's the good news. Now, what the bad news is that, do you see all those missiles?
Yeah.
They have left their ship and they're coming towards us. And even though we destroy their ship, they're still going to come to us. So we'll
Oops.
have to make some defenses from there. Hopefully, we'll manage. Now, if we go to the sealed step, you'll see that we have no energy on the seal, so we cannot produce any sealed at all. But we have Thor. And Thor's orange ability says electrify seals. And what he does is that he throws lightning from his hammer to the seal generator, overflowing him with energy, and he places 3 seals in all the spaces of the starship. So why don't you expand the orange ability? And I'm gonna place 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. 3 seals in all the spaces of the starship. It's definitely not going to be enough, but I believe we are going to be cool. All right, let's flip. 5. Okay, okay, that's 2 damage on on this hex, the hex 10, and of course 2 damage to Barcelona and to Hipster. And let's see what's happening top 4, 7,
Oh
4.
gosh.
Oh,
Oh gosh.
okay, okay. So I'm gonna place 3 seals over here, so we'll take 4 damage everywhere, and feel happy that we have an even amount of damage on our ship. So we'll have 4 damage here. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll have 4 damage here. 1, 2, 3, 4. My God, lots of fire. That's lots of fire. 1, 2, 3,
Guys, got
4.
problem.
Okay, lots of fire indeed, and Lana takes 4 damage. Oh my God. And Sorcerer the same. And lastly, for Panthera. Okay, we took lots of damage, we took lots of fire, but we both killed our enemies, and we produced enough energy to give to our alien friends to succeed to our quest. And since we have won our quest, well, this damage is nothing that we have to worry about. We have all the time in the world to correct it. We have a pretty strong hipster over here that repairs 5 to all nearby hexes. Now, means that it is the hex you are standing on and all adjacent hexes.
Nice.
So he can easily move like 1, 2 hexes over here, and to take out the fire in here and here. And we also have Igia, which has the amazing ability throw the bucket. She has a mop and a bucket with water, and she makes everything clean. But the orange ability says throw the bucket, and she removes all fire by using her ability.
Nice.
There are ways to deal with that. So this is a success. This is a complete victory. Now, I really want to show you something that we did not encounter during our game, and I really think you should take a good look at I don't know where the oh, there it is. The next chip is what I was going to talk to you about. This is the white chip or the opportunity chip. And when we draw one of those chips, what we do is two things. First, we draw another and resolve that one. And second, and most important, we take one of the encounter decks that corresponds to our fight. There are 5 encounter decks. Sorry, not encounter decks, opportunity decks. There are 5, each for every different encounter: aliens, monsters, starship, titans, and space phenomena. So we'll take the starship since we are on a starship fight, and we'll shuffle it, and we will choose one of those, and we will read what it says. We'll draw a card, we'll read what it says, and it says that vast emptiness of space, normal asteroid fields are usually not dangerous to travel through since asteroids are in vast distances from each other. You, however, seem to be unlucky since the field in front of you is extremely dense and seems difficult to traverse. You can enter it and try to use it to your advantage, but failure to navigate it might prove fatal. So what we're going to do is, what happening is that we come across an asteroid field, and we can try to be very careful about it and use it defensively, or we could be very aggressive about it and go and throw some crazy maneuvers. And if our opponent tries to catch up, well, maybe they're not as good as pilots as we are, and they take some damage from the asteroid field. And then we choose one of the two options. Uh, let's say, for example, that we choose they can't keep up, and we flip the card and we see what happens depending on our choice. So in they can't keep up says, if you win thrusters contest by 5 or more this round, deal damage to the enemy ship equal to half his current hit points round down. So it can deal a massive damage on a strong enemy that has like 60 or 70 or 80 hit points.
Cool.
If you outsmart them, you can throw them into the asteroid field and they can be dealt lots of damage. On the other choice, it says if you win the thrusters contest by 5 or more this round, avoid all incoming missiles, because what you do is that you use the asteroids as shields and you try to maneuver that way so the missiles hit the asteroids as well. There are many other things that could happen. All those cards represent opportunities that arise. For example, there is a psionic field where you could try to harvest some psionic energy. There is one that you could try to surrender. There is one that pirates come, mercenaries come, and they send a message to both you and your enemy, and they say, okay, we're gonna help whoever pays us more. And then we go into a bidding war with the enemy, and if we win, they help us. But if we lose, then we have to fight them as well. And there are other things like, I don't know, Can I Have an Aspirin is one of my favorites. It's actually that we crashed into a nearby planet, and when we wake up, they have boarded our ship, and then we would have to face them in like melee combat, but inside our starship. I would have to place this miniature of the equilibriums over here. Actually, I would roll for the location, and of course his little soldiers, and we would have to fight them with our hammers and guns and spells and critical suits and chains. Anything we have, we would have to fight them on melee combat and see who would win. Anything would be possible. There are 5 encounter decks because there are different opportunities that arises in starship combat, different on the planet. On the planet, maybe it's a meteor storm or something else. Anything that randomizes the events of every combat a little or a lot.
So it sounds like you could
And
start an encounter like on a planet, and you can wind up someplace totally different at the end.
yeah, exactly. That's actually so true. You could start on the starship and then suddenly go into a planet, and for some weird reason, the opposite could happen. Anything could happen. That's the part. The opportunity cards are a spectacular opportunity that arises, and the heroes try to take advantage. Usually, it is advantages to the players, but there's always an option involved, and you can try to risk to get more. And if you fail the risk, then you might get something bad. Uh, all these things could happen. Now, one last thing what I would like to tell you is that now that we won the adventure, we helped our friends, we defeat the equilibriums. What we do is, if you take a quick look at these symbols over here, those say that first you'll get loot, then you will enhance your ether, then you will increase your reputation with this faction, and you will decrease the reputation with the faction you were fighting. If you see this symbol over
Mm-hmm.
here is
Mm-hmm.
this symbol over here. And this is what happens. And I want to stay especially in the enhancing your ether part. What happens is, let's go to your pouch over here. This was an encounter level of 2. So what you do is you draw 2 crystals, those 2, for example, after you have placed everything back inside, of course, and you choose one to permanently remove, and you replace it with a crystal of the next available power. So you could remove blue for green, or you could remove orange for red. And that's how, in the course of the adventure, your pouch gets stronger, and you can use your most powerful abilities more often. It's like a
Mm.
pouch building system, you could say.
And this pouch building
And
system persists independent of any characters dying, right? Because it's the pouch, not related to the characters.
yes, it's related to the player. This has to do with the player. So if me, you, and a third friend of us were starting playing, I would be the blue, you the
Uh-huh.
green, he the red, and we would change back and forth heroes, but the pouch would be ours.
Gotcha.
And we would be able to increase our progress through the ether. And that's how this works. Of course, there are many enemies like monsters, uh, big and small. There are all sorts of
How does the enemy AI work in this game, or how do the enemies activate when they're physical stuff on
um,
the board?
yeah, before combat, when you are in the diplomacy stage of the game, which is a very important part, then all their actions are written in the back of each card. What happens and how they respond to you, etc., etc.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, on the board, they use the abilities written on their cards. It's exactly as we did, let's say this one, exactly
Gotcha.
as we did on the Starship. And the target choice always goes for with some simple steps. For example, first you target the one that has the highest strength. If there are 2 with equal strength, then who has taken the most damage. And then if both have taken the same damage, goes for it with something else. They have a small algorithm that narrows it down with 3 easy steps.
Good.
Um, there are quite a lot more things to say, but this could take a while. There, I believe you have a good sense of the game. You move in this place and you buy and sell things to increase your reputation. You fight starship and titans on this board, and aliens and monsters on this board. And what you're trying to do is to convince one of those aliens, those major aliens that live in one of the planets, to convince them to come back to Earth and save the Earth. And every single one of them will take you in a different quest line, because those are the druids, for example. They are druid like aliens, and they will give you a specifically, nature oriented, let's say, quests and peaceful quests and stuff like those. But if you try, and you could convince them, and then after 36 adventures, you could make their final quest, and then you'll save Earth and you win. But if you want to play the game again for a second campaign, and you try to befriend them, well, they're gonna give you a whole different kind of quests, because they are more chaotic and war friendly and bloodlusty, and they are scientists. They're different. They are the sneaky shadow aliens, which are different. They are robots. Anybody has a different agenda, and that mirrors into the quest that they give you. So anytime you try to be friends with somebody, well, you will meet different occasions and different quests.
Very cool. So the goal is just to get one of these civilizations to help Earth as the winning condition at the end of the campaign.
Exactly. Each one of them has one quest. One they have one agenda, and if you help them do what they want to, well, then you will be able to. They will be convinced to come back and save the Earth for you.
And you said the campaign is how long again?
36 up to 36 adventures.
Up to 36. So you could get done sooner. And an adventure is what we just played, right? Where we have a
Yes,
quest to do, right?
yes. It was to be honest, it was to the easy side. It was an easy adventure. We were kind of stuck for our opponent. We had lots of upgrades and lots of. We have really good pouches, but please take a quick look on this card and read the red ability.
Two missiles unavoidable kills all heroes. Oh, yeah, that's a problem. Jeez.
That's a huge problem, and it's the same level as the encounter we just did. It's
Gotcha.
the same level. So this, if you go unprepared, this is a great thread. You cannot use evasive maneuvers. You don't know where it will hit. That's why the D is here. So you cannot stack seal somewhere and say, okay, I'm fine. You never know where it's gonna hit. And this is very difficult. This could lead in a huge blast for your, in a huge, um, problem for your team. And if you see this one, I didn't mention before, I should have. The keyword heal means heal up to, no, it means take back hit points equal to half your maximum. So for all heroes, this is 5 because their maximum is 10. But if you take a look at those Michael Lords card, the red ability says heal, and that it means that they heal for 43 hit points.
Whoa.
Now, 43 hit points is a lot of hit points to deal damage to, and if they get healed again and again, this could lead to a huge fight, and you definitely cannot withstand so long because once your pouch is empty, it's empty. You cannot use abilities again. You have no refills. And also, if you see their blue ability, the most common ones, it says 4 missiles and it has 5 or what they target. So what you would do is you would place 4 missiles all on 5 hex. Now if you
Oh,
flip,
interesting.
that would be 9, 13, 20 damage on the 5 hex. Now 20 damage on the 5 hex are a lot. If you don't have at least 11 seals, then you're dead. But the real problem is though that they get healed, and this will take a long time to defeat. But you are not helpless. You're not hopeless. What you need is the appropriate team for its fight. For example, if you take a quick look at this hero over here, the wizard, his red ability says counter enemy ability.
Hmm.
And that means that if I have a red crystal on him, if I can use his red ability, then I can counter this arrow of death when it comes to kill me. And a second example is for Cleopatra over here. Her red ability says remove ability after it resolves. So what we would do is that if those Michael Lords would get healed by their red ability, we would remove the red chip so they could never heal again in this combat.
Gotcha.
So there are specific heroes that are good to fight, to encounter different kinds of opponents. Um, and of course, there are some that combo with each other. And if you find those combos, well, and if you have it versus the appropriate enemy, well, that's very important for your success.
So what happens when you lose all four of your characters in front of you? Or let's say, well, this is a three-player setup, right? So Do
Right.
players
If
always? So if I'm playing, we play with just 4 heroes each. But does that change with the player counts if we have more or less players?
yes.
And then what happens when you lose all your heroes?
So what happens is that there are always 12 active heroes on every spaceboard mission. There are six, only six if there is only a planet mission like this one. So let's say 12. No matter the player count, the active heroes are always 12. So if there is a 2-player game, it's 6 and 6. A 3-player game is 4, 4, 4. A 4-player game is 3 heroes, etc., etc.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if a hero dies, well, for this adventure, let's say that Hipster died. Okay, when he dies, we stop using him and we continue on to our adventure, and then we win, or well, we resolve it whenever we can. In the next adventure, we're going to draft again to pick different heroes for ourselves, and him, the hipster, will not be a part of it. We will place him over here in our bag, and we will know.
I lose you?
What?
Oh, sorry, I lost you for a second. You were saying you put hipster in the bag and we know what.
We know that he's dead, that we're never going to use him again.
Got it.
We don't have to have him in the stack of heroes. So in every adventure, in the start of every adventure, we're going to draft heroes, and we're going to pick 12, and we're going to have them and play with them. If one dies, well, we'll never use him again, and that's it.
So would there be a chance where I have, let's say, worst case scenario, I've got all 4 heroes in front of me, and all 4 of them die? What do I do as a player then?
You mean if all 4 players die in this adventure, this one
Yeah,
adventure?
just an example. Yeah.
I'm trying to think one of the. Well, first of all, let me just say out here, if 2 of your heroes are dead, it's a great hint that you should start using full throttle to escape the combat. Not all
Okay, so
combats. Yeah, yeah.
so most
It's a
likely you're not
it's
going
a
to get to that situation, right, where you have all your heroes dead, right? So
it means that you are not willing to understand that not all combats are going to be successful.
got it.
I have played a few adventures during the playtest, which is still going on, and I know that some combats must go for the full throttle to escape. Sometimes you will not calculate something well. Sometimes you will be unlucky, I guess, and you will have to retreat. Now, if you have 4 heroes dead, well, just stay back and beg your other 2 players or whoever you're playing with um, to retreat. 4 heroes dead is a very big problem.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Not only for this adventure, but for the whole campaign. For example, Priest is the only healer in the roster. If he dies, you're going to play a full adventure with no healer. That will make all your monster hunts much more difficult.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
and and everybody else. So Hipster, he didn't shine uh, during our gameplay, but he's one of the most important because he's actually a support character. If you see his abilities, they're mostly helping others draw what they want to draw. They fix your draws from the ether pouch, and that's very very important. If you lose him, you'll have a big disadvantage.
Mm-hmm.
Losing Lana will mean you can never empower this weapon, the plasma spheres,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and all those stuff. Everyone has something important. Barcelona over here, uh, is very strong, so makes your opponent attack her, and she takes so damage all the round. She's a beast on tanking. You'll need all those abilities in some of the situations. By losing 4 or 5 heroes means that there is some adventures where you're not as good as you could be.
Got it.
Don't let your heroes die, guys, please. Come on.
No, like, key strategy point, right?
Yeah, yeah. Don't let your heroes die because, funny or not so funny enough, there are some players that I have encountered that says, "Okay, let's risk it," and I was like, "Risk what? Our wizard is going to die if we risk it and we fail, and we are not going." And it's, "Oh, come on, let's risk it."
And
I I
how
I
many
I
heroes are in
came
the
to care
game?
for this. 32.
32. So you got, at least you got a good pool to pull from. That's cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And there are plenty of aliens as well. Them, the Oceanians, those are the Archons. I'm guessing those are the Empyreans, one of the best. Um, I'm guessing that there will be a good chunk of cards that you will never have seen or at least interacted with if you've finished one campaign. You'll need
Hmm.
to play another one to see more, and another one to see. I doubt you could see all the cards in one or two campaigns.
So how many games is a campaign on average? You said it could go up to 32, you said, or 36?
On 36,
Okay.
and on average, it's 36.
Oh, okay. Usually takes the full time. That's cool.
Well, it could happen to finish at 34, 35, but that means that you risk. So what happens is that the last 3 or 4 adventures, if you're very good, is when you decide that, okay, the last quest is very difficult. The last quest is like a beast of a quest. You need to be at your top level. You need to have all the best upgrades for your starship. You need to be really upgraded on your pool and stuff. So the last 3 or 4 adventures, you will try to go for this quest, but you will have 1 or 2 chances of succeeding. So you'll say, okay, let me try, and if you succeed, okay, then if you fail, okay, I have one more try. I have one more try, and that's why it usually takes all the 36 adventures to finish one campaign.
Gotcha. Good.
That was pretty much all from me. I don't know if you have any more.
No, no more questions from me. I don't know if there's any questions from our chat that you guys have. But yeah, no. While I wait for the see if there's a response there. Thanks for teaching and meeting up with me and showing me this game. This is really cool.
You're so welcome, friend, and thank you for your patience and your time. I really hope you enjoyed it. I really hope I didn't overwhelm you with information. And I believe you have a pretty good idea of how this game will feel while playing.
Yeah, and remind our viewers when the Kickstarter is launching for this.
Sorry, I lost you for a second. Can you say again?
Yeah, when is the Kickstarter launching again?
Yeah, yeah, 17th of November.
Cool. Excellent.
All
Well,
right.
thanks, Vanton, for your time,
Uh,
and I'll talk to you later.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Have a nice one. Bye.
You too. Bye bye, everyone on the stream.